Imagine this for a second. You're the creator of a new cryptocurrency, a crypto designed to rival the likes of Bitcoin. Behind the blockchain, you're adored by your admirers. Your fans would go to the ends of the earth for you. You raise over $4 billion off the back of your new technology and infectious personality. And then you disappear. No trace, no explanation. Your crypto collapses, and all those who invested are left with nothing to show for it. Well, for Ruja Ignatova, this wasn't just a pipe dream, it was her reality. And in this video, we'll explore how she was able to steal billions from underneath the noses of thousands of investors before disappearing off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. To truly understand the story of Ignatova, we need to take a few steps back. Ignatova was born in 1980 in Bulgaria. However, her family immigrated to Germany when she was just a kid. Ignatova would then go on to study law at Oxford University, one of the most prestigious schools in Europe, before earning a PhD at Konstanz University in Germany. With such a prestigious academic background, it was obvious that Ignatova would fit perfectly into a high-paying corporate role. And that's exactly what happened, as she joined a consultant company named McKinsey & Company. It was at this firm that Ignatova developed a new set of skills. Skills that can't be read in a book or learned in a classroom. The skills of charisma, ambition, and deception. 3 skills that she would go on to master, and that would pay her dividends down the line. Because, let me get something clear, Ignatova was not afraid to break the rules to achieve her goals. Despite studying law at PhD level, she seemed to have no respect for the rules. You see, Ignatova had one goal: to get filthy rich. And I don't mean investing in your 401k rich. I mean genuine, unfathomable wealth. The kind of wealth that you can only dream of attaining. Ignatova's first attempt to realise these goals would come shortly after leaving McKinsey & Company, where she would go on to work for a national Bulgarian company, one that would eventually, and rather conveniently, go bankrupt out of nowhere, causing a fraud allegation to surface. Ultimately, nothing would come of these allegations, and Ignatova was hardly implicated in these alleged financial crimes, let alone caught. However, this first endeavour into the world of financial fraud gave Ignatova a greater understanding of how to get away with a financial scam and how to make money doing so. And in 2016, she would use these skills to launch a financial scam like the world had never seen. Now, before we get into just how crazy things get, if you haven't already, please pound that subscribe button. It's completely free and will help prevent scammers from robbing you of your entire life savings. So please, do yourself a favour, subscribe, or be scammed. Ignatova's idea was pretty simple. She wanted to ride the wave of hype and financial success the cryptocurrency was experiencing in 2014. So, she created a cryptocurrency of her own. It was called OneCoin, and she marketed it as a Bitcoin killer, and something that ordinary people could invest in to get rich. And the marketing behind the company was simply fantastic. Instead of allowing investors to purchase coins outright, Ignatova dressed the investment as an educational package that would teach you about how to invest. These packages, that cost upwards of $1,000, would also come with some tokens that you could use to mine OneCoins. So in investors' eyes, they were getting education and the ability to get OneCoins as part of the package. She also created big incentives to get others to invest in the scheme. Basically, the more people you recruited to invest, the more network points you would earn, giving you access to luxury rewards. This obviously made promoting the coin extremely attractive to most investors. She also spoke at conferences and workshops around the world, rallying people behind her coin, almost like a politician before a big election. The only problem? Everything was fake. OneCoin didn't use a blockchain, nor did it have a mining process, meaning the coins couldn't be circulated. Instead, they remained firmly in the hands of Ignatova and her peers, while investors were left without anything to show for their investment, save the excuse that they couldn't cash out yet as the coins were locked in the system. In layman's terms, the whole thing was a lie. A pyramid scheme with the sole purpose of conning investors out of their hard-earned money. The outside world, however, continued to believe Ignatova's promises, and over the next couple of years, upwards of $4 billion was invested into the company. And by invested, I mean that it went straight into Ignatova's back pocket. However, by 2016, the media started to suspect something was wrong with Ignatova's company. Despite the promises, the stats, and the stories, no one was actually getting rich from OneCoin, and no one could withdraw their money. Media outlets started to warn investors of the OneCoin scam, while crypto experts started to label it as a Ponzi scheme. And for Ignatova, the walls were closing in. Now, this is normally the part of the video where I tell you how our beloved criminal was caught. However, in this case of Mrs. Ignatova, I can't. Why? Well, she was never actually caught. In October of 2017, several months after all these red flags about OneCoin started to surface, Ignatova was scheduled to speak at a OneCoin event in Lisbon. The crowd awaited her arrival, but she simply never showed up. Just 2 weeks later, she was seen boarding a Ryanair flight from Sofia to Athens. And that was the last anyone ever saw of her. No one saw her land, and no one's seen her since. To this day, she remains on the FBI's wanted list amid crimes of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. Now, there are some theories to suggest that the reason no one has seen her for the best part of 8 years is that she was murdered. There are plenty of rumours that Ignatova enlisted the help of a Bulgarian crime boss by the name of Taki to facilitate her scam. Now, if you've never heard of the name before, Taki is a giant underground mafia boss in Bulgaria. He's one of those figures that everyone knows exist, but no one has ever seen, and authorities have never caught. And if you're going to run an organised criminal operation in the country, it's probably going to go through him. There are sources to suggest that Ignatova enlisted the help of Taki for both personal protection and assistance with money laundering, with some suggesting that she paid the best part of $100,000 per month for his personal protection. Interestingly, in 2022, a police report from Bulgaria detailed a police informant overhearing Taki's brother-in-law saying that Ignatova had been murdered on Taki's orders in 2018, with her body being dumped into the Ionian Sea, never to be seen again. The reason for this sudden change of heart is believed to be that Ignatova started to become a liability for Taki. Essentially, he made his money from her and wanted to cut off all ties to disassociate himself with the entire ordeal. So, he murdered her. Ultimately, no one has been able to verify the truth behind this story, and unless she's suddenly spotted one day, no one ever will. She absolutely could have been murdered by a former protector, and when you look at the way a lot of crime bosses operate, it's not a far-fetched conclusion to draw. However, there is still a chance that she's still out there, basking in all that stolen money. Ultimately, Ruja Ignatova's crimes, though diabolical, are also weirdly admirable. It's genuinely crazy that she was able to con planet Earth of billions and then simply walk away with all that money, never to be seen again. However, compared to the complex criminal empire that Michael Locke built, all while pretending to be a pastor, Ignatova's crimes honestly don't look that bad. Click the link on the screen now and I'll show you just how much a true criminal kingpin is willing to do for cash.